maybe in the chat, maybe a thumbs up somewhere about the screen being shared as well as the audio being right. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly start and settle. And before we begin, right, so welcoming all of you, right? We have a lot of students, a lot of faculty as well. So welcome you all. We will try to understand how we can work with AI and how AI works in the life sciences and how AI works with healthcare, right? How it can transform healthcare. Now, our focus is going to be a little bit on life sciences and healthcare, right? We'll start off with a basic intro to what AI is, what AI can do, right? What it can do in various capacities and what are its domains that are available, right? What are the different industries that it has, and amongst that, how can it help the industry that we are going to focus on, life science and healthcare. Okay, so introducing me, my name is Arif, right? I'll be taking you through the session over the next 1 hour or so. Okay, fine. So some of the objectives of the webinar that we are having right now. Just a sec.
हेलो
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
हेलो
Yeah, Sapna.
सर ये कौन से सेमेस्टर का आप मतलब करा रहे हैं
Sorry.
ये लाइफ साइंस
Mm-hmm.
कौन से सेमेस्टर का है सर
Introduced to the life sciences and AI in life sciences concepts.
पूरी ना पूजा छोटी दी है
One second. Okay. Now the objective of the webinar here is to define AI and understand what is AI's significance in various life sciences and various roles, right? Like a little bit about drug discovery, drug development, right? What are its applications in clinical diagnostics, right? How can AI be used for predictive modeling? How can it be used for tracking, real-time monitoring? How can we use some machine learning techniques for life sciences and life science-based applications? Right? And how its interactivity, right? How maybe some tools like OCR, right? How it can help extracting text better, right? Maybe I have a prescription, right? We've seen a lot of use cases, and I've recently worked with a couple of projects for how you can extract the prescriptions, maybe by using OCR, help process it, and then connect it maybe to a database, store the data into a database or so. So at a basic level, we will try to understand how we can use such technologies relevant to whatever we do, right? And maybe we can have some interaction when you guys pour in with your suggestions as well. You can have the room to speak for yourselves also, right? To share your experiences also, right? So maybe towards the end, we'll see a demo of how maybe different images can be categorized, right? Which is like a low code, no code AI based tools, right? So we have a couple of tools which helps in these predictive modeling, the machine learning part and everything. Then we'll try to take some single use case with uploading a couple of images for the category that we would want. Okay. And then probably we'll conclude with what are the emerging trends, right? What are the use cases? What are the future directions that we will have? Okay. Hope you're good so far. And we've got around 70 odd participants here. Okay, so I think we're having a very diverse crowd in here. So let us be very generic with what we are going to do and very specific with the domain as well. So early on an introduction to AI is where we'll start. Okay. First thing, what's AI? Right? AI is a technology that uses any kind of computer algorithms to stimulate human intelligence. Right? So you can perform tasks like humans. Okay. Something which makes computers think like humans. Now, in life sciences, how can it be used is what we'll see. Any one of you heard about AI? Right? What is artificial intelligence? Have you heard about it, worked with it? What's it? I think we know about AI. Day in, day out, we all keep seeing AI, right? A lot of AI-based tools, a lot of AI-based applications, right? So many apps, so many softwares are built using AI, right? Now, AI is in such an advanced stage right now that it has completely diminished or completely removed maybe coding and maybe thoughtfulness, right? We don't have to think anymore. We just have to know basic communication and interaction, how to speak in English, and AI can do the rest things for us, right? Today, I need not really uh, have expertise too much in a particular field, right? Yet I could solve a massive problem that could be faced in that industry, right? By the power of AI, right? AI has its own advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons are definitely there. And so we are gonna focus more on how we can use AI for the benefit of our daily work. Okay. So artificial intelligence is something which helps perform tasks which we humans generally do. And now we are giving those capabilities onto a machine, and that machine is actually going to try and work, create, and solve problems. Right. So there will be some problems, come up with ideal solutions, and execute them in record less time. Okay. Now it's not going to take maybe a couple of days like we generally do. This is going to happen within minutes, right? Within seconds, in the flash of the eye, right? So you just have this. Now, what's the role of AI in life sciences? So AI plays a very important role, right? Pretty much everywhere, but specific to life sciences, right? You can use AI, right? Like to analyze maybe patient data. And if you have a patient, right, you want to analyze some data, right? You can get analysis, right? You can get insights, right? So there'll be a lot of inferences that you can get. So maybe I have a report of a patient, right, who's probably suffering from some kind of a disease, right? Maybe a cancer or anything, right? So the moment I give this report to AI, right, the AI can act as maybe a nutritionist, first of all, right, to try and set the relevant diet, right? AI can act as a diagnosis tool. Yeah. AI can act as a diagnosis tool. AI can act as a nutritionist. AI can act as a doctor as well. Okay. Now, that doesn't really mean that we eliminate doctors or that we eliminate any of the needs that we have or the medication, right? True, we do take the help of AI, but always remember its limits that AI can also be wrong. It can make mistakes because it is ultimately man-made. Yeah. It is not something natural. It is not something that we are seeing live, right? It is something that is a mixture of lot of information and past history, right? Now, it does play a really important role, right? Because of AI in life sciences, we do have a lot of opportunities that you can analyze like patient data, you can identify patterns, changes, make predictions, and a lot of human breakthrough can happen much faster way. Okay, right. So what we'll do is in terms of disease diagnosis, right? How do AI models help? Right, we'll try to understand that in brief. Right, I'm not switching slides yet. So when we look at disease diagnosis, so AI can take information from the genes, right, and the genomic data, right, and it can help assist in diagnosing genetic diseases. Okay, so maybe we have some genetic genetic diseases that we're gonna try and understand how it is. It can help with the diagnosis there in the genetic diseases. Okay. So it can accurately detect, it can analyze the conditions, right? And analyze diseases, diagnose it quite easily. Right. So that's what we were speaking about in terms of patient data and maybe some kind of diagnosis for any kind of a disease. Okay. Now we'll also discuss its usage in clinical trials. Okay. Now a little bit of introduction to what is AI, right? And what are the things that are involved? Where are we currently in the market? What is there in the industry, right? And how are we applying? Obviously, we're gonna discuss that. So AI means we have just discussed making computers think like humans. A sub part of AI is ML, machine learning. Right. So I think there was one slide here, one point here which said something about predictive modeling. Right. So we'll understand how we will work with predictive modeling. Okay. So here it is like machine learning is one such subset of AI which helps in build algorithms, which helps in building logic by using some statistical concepts. Okay, like math and stats concepts are involved. So we can do predictive modeling. Like example, if we have a patient who has got some disease, right? Out of that, what we can do is basis on the symptoms, right? We can just guess like, okay, what is the disease, and it can do the proper predictions, and maybe based on the water intake, right? Per day water intake of a person, right? So you can create a predictive model which can tell how likely is this person to be fit, or how likely is this person to fall ill if that person is drinking more or less water according to certain parameters we can define. So basically, ML is a subset of AI which enables computers to learn from previous experiences. Right? We feed some data to it, and then it automatically makes the predictions whenever it comes across new data. Okay. Now, other than ML, there is also something called as NLP, natural language processing, right? A very important field, right? All of the virtual assistant, chatbots, and all of those things comes in NLP, which is also a subset of AI. Although it's not mentioned here, just wanted to point it out. Okay, because we will come across a little bit about chatbots. Then, if you have a look, there is something more advanced called as deep learning. Okay, now this uses a combination of complex neural networks in order to try and solve a problem. I'll give you one of the examples, right? By using deep learning, right? So the most commonly used thing that we try to solve here is brain tumor detection. Okay, when we look at a brain tumor detection, what happens in a brain tumor? Right, we have images, right? I'll in fact try to show you this. Right, so brain tumor, we have the images that we get. Right, after we have the images that we're getting from a person's brain tumor, right, a cancerous or a non-cancerous mass, what kind of abnormal cells are there? I think there are different types of brain tumors. Right? So one is a malignant one. Yep. So we have different types of brain tumors also. Now, according to this, yeah, how can we understand is using deep learning, we can feed in the images and it runs through all of these complex algorithms, right? So there is something like neural networks, right, which I was just speaking about. It uses neural network, it processes the data, takes all of the images, and once it takes all of these images, it is going to understand, save, load it, and save it as a model, like a data, such that based on what you have taught the machine learning or the deep learning model, next time you come and ask, okay, here is an image. Let me know if this person has a tumor or not. That could be one use case. Or else, You could come up with another image and say, let me know what type of brain tumor this is. Let me know what type of brain tumor this is. Yeah, you're getting the point? So these are the kind of things that we can try and understand and work with in deep learning. Okay. So now the next thing here is a little more advanced than deep learning is generative AI. Okay. This is a very recent uh, tech which is there, right? It's a subset of deep learning. It uses deep learning, it uses NLP. Sorry. But the thing with generative AI here is that it helps in text generation, image generation, video generation, right? It helps in data generation. So it's more of generating data than just looking at it and making some predictions or doing some analytics. Right here, it generates new and original data. Right? So that's what is generative AI, which is why it's called generative, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be called generative, right? So the other things that you see on top are discriminative. Okay. I hope we've gotten a gist of what AI is and what are its types until now. Okay. Now, how do we understand and work with life sciences in the age of generative AI is what we will see. Now, a small statistic 66% of the companies in life sciences use AI for their use cases, right? Including what supply chain transformation, including business operations to enhance their business operations, right? So you have like compliance improvement, right? You have a lot of use cases which are there, right? So we'll discuss a few of the use cases for AI and the role of AI in life sciences. Okay. Right, so the first one that you can see here, these are just a few of them. Okay. AI creates opportunities to optimize workflows previously that were thought unimaginable. Okay. So you have like AI which helps you to create a lot of workflows, right? Complex workflows. And right now I could just use AI and then I could design a lot of flows, right? Which then run automatically, right? Maybe like ring me or send me a notification, right? Maybe when my blood sugar level is low, right? Immediately, right? So you can have an automation flow that you can build for that. Okay. Now with the use of AI, these are very, very simple. Okay. Previously, it wasn't so simple. Okay. Now, how is artificial intelligence and machine learning transforming research into the life sciences? Right. So you integrate AI and ML into healthcare or into life sciences, right? So this is something like a true revolution. Now, previously, data analysis would take weeks or months, right? So if at all I wanted to analyze and understand about patient data, what are the patterns, what are the changes, what are the diagnoses that we had to do, right? So previously it used to take weeks, okay? Because we have to understand and focus on a lot of parameters there, correct? So now what you can do, you can perform everything almost instantly with the help of AI, right? It can understand, it can look at and work with millions of records at once. Have you all heard about IBM Watson? This is an example of quite some time ago, right? A good 8, 10 years ago. You all have heard about Watson, right? One of the earliest instances of how AI was used in the life sciences and healthcare industry was back in 2015 or 2016. Okay. So it happened in Tokyo, right? So some of you might have come across this thing. Right? It happened in Tokyo. There was one university of medical sciences, I think, in Tokyo, right? Tokyo's research university. So there was this patient who had cancer and a rare type of leukemia and blood cancer. Okay. Now what happened was this patient was undergoing chemotherapy, right, as usual, right? So there was a lot of sessions that she had undergone, right? Now, after a while, what happened was there should be that recovery, right? So the recovery was not up to the mark. It was unusually very slow, right? Usually, when you do the chemotherapy and when you're getting treatments, right, so you have the recovery happening quite fast, right? All the diagnosis and everything was done with from the doctors and researchers there, right? Everything happened, but then the recovery was slow. So they were like, okay, we probably may have made a mistake, right? That we're not able to diagnose, and even the chemotherapy is not really working on this person anymore, or it's working abruptly slow or painfully slow. So then what they did was they were like, okay, we now have to act fast. And then they had Watson there, IBM Watson, right? A supercomputer by IBM, right? It had massive amounts of database and genetic data that it had, like the papers and everything. So what IBM Watson did was it took the data, it took the patient's data using AI and various advanced techniques of AI, right, it tried to analyze what are the genetic combinations of this patient, of this person, and it tried and matched the DNA, the helixes, right? What are the combinations which are there, right? Checked with the DNA helix and see what is wrong, right? Is it completely matching? What kind of leukemia are you looking at, right? And then within 10 minutes, it was remarkably able to find that there were over 1,000 genetic mutations. Okay, out of those 1,000, it was also able to identify that these are the important ones for the unusual recovery, and this is a different type of cancer. And so that is the conclusion that it gave within just 10 minutes. Okay, right? So that's how significant AI was. Now, how would we as humans do? Now, I know that there are research papers, I know that there are research scholars, right? So we all are having a lot of our work written, right? At that moment in that hospital, right, you want to check with your patient, right, urgently, right? If you had to do it in terms of research, it would have taken a human doctor almost 2 weeks to go through all of those. Now, it could upload millions of oncology papers, and finally, what it would do, it could just get all of the data from there, find what are the problems, find what are the solutions, like what are the genetic mutations which were there, which are important for this, for the diagnosis, right? It pointed out and noted it out, right? And this was 10 years ago. Okay, one of the earliest instances is what I wanted to show. Okay, nowadays it's quite advanced, right? So obviously with the of generative AI, it's again massive. Right? So you have endless capabilities. Yep. So basically, the idea is I'm trying to tell you that AI can analyze all of the data at a much better pace and instant. Okay. I think one lot of research and a lot of things were happening by using AI, right? AI helped in predicting, right, how to avoid the hotspots, right? AI helped in predictions as to what to do, how to medicate, how to avoid, right? I think a lot of our time was spent there, right? During the COVID-19 and during that disruption which happened, right? What happened was we were trying to do our own diagnosis, remember, at our homes, right? So you go to the hospitals, get medicines, right, and everything. But other than that, what were we doing? Follow a strict diet, right? Eat what is healthy, eat what is there, eat what is required, right? All of those things we used to try and do. And then what used to happen was AI systems, right? So we used to have the chatbots, right? We used to have virtual assistants, the chatbots, which used to tell us like, okay, if I'm feeling cold, right, or if I'm having some kind of symptoms, right, so you had the telemedicine also available. Okay, so by using AI, a lot of these things were created, right, from back that time. Yeah. So AI assists governments and healthcare institutions in combating pandemics, right? One such example was of Watson, the other one was of the chatbots that we had during the pandemic. And I think we've all been through this. We've all seen this. Right? So there were a lot of things online that were put up. Okay. Yes. Any questions so far? I'm just going to take a small pause here. We are good. You can unmute, you can drop a message. That you have any questions, you have any suggestions, any doubts, anything that you want to add on, feel free. Right? I'm going to give you guys a minute. Right? So just opening the room, think about whatever we have discussed. You have any thoughts? Right? We'll try to keep it a little interactive. I know it's a webinar, but maybe we can take a minute or two. One or two people can speak up if required, or maybe put your messages in the chat also. That's also fine. Okay. No worries. I think we can just continue. Oh, I dropped off the meeting. I don't know why. Great. Yeah. Just moving over to the next slide then. It's just a gist of what we were discussing. Right. So it's like AI can give us the chatbots and the virtual assistants. Right. So we have. So AI can help in drug discovery and drug repurposing. Okay. So when we speak about AI under life sciences, right? So you have drug discovery as one part, drug repurposing as another thing that we can do. Okay. Now, what can we do in terms of drug discovery and development? So, if at all you have a use case wherein you have to identify potential drug candidates, right? So, you want to take into consideration their molecular designs, right? How safe it is, right? What is the toxicity levels, right? What kind of therapies that we can use, right? What is the time that it takes for the mixture and the correct chemical composition, right? In terms of clinical trials as well, right? What are the trials, right? Is this good enough, right? Is the shape and structure and does it look good? Does it actually have the required constituents for all of those things? We could be using AI tools. Okay, so it can assist at various stages for the clinical trials, right? So suppose we are running a clinical trial for planning, right? What kind of steps to follow for the planning, right? So you could be making use of AI. Okay, so for monitoring, obviously, we have all of our monitoring systems, right? For that, it can be used, right? And then You can also see that if you have a large amount of unstructured data that you want to maintain and manage, right, like clinical notes, that you could be using AI for the clinical trials and notes as well. Now, what are the benefits of using this here? One is speed. Second is you're automating it, so your cost is reduced, right? Cost optimization is a major factor, right? Research cost, research R&D, that's massive. Right? We people spend a lot of money, a lot of time on R&D. Right now, the moment we are using AI, right, that reduces drastically. Okay, and one major advantage is it can streamline complex processes. Right, like the overall efficiency of R&D workflows can be increased massively. Right, so the work is reduced. Okay, now in terms of AI advancing, right, within the life sciences, right, so drug discovery is one of the major forces that it has, right, medical advancement. And now when we speak about drug discovery, right, it's a very vital part where AI is being used massively, right? So you can develop new medications, you can get new treatments, right? So saves lives of millions of people. Right? So there'll be various illness, various diseases that people are suffering from. Using drug discovery and AI inside of that, so AI can be used for identifying these new drug candidates, right? Like I just told, how safe it is, how efficient it is, how good is it, all of those things. Correct? Then AI uses algorithms such that it can analyze massive amounts of data. So now if there is some chemical compound, right? Like I said, if there is a chemical compound that has to be developed into a drug that is supposed to be given to the patients, right? AI will tell, okay, is this composition good enough? Is it toxic? Right? Is it edible? Right? That's very important, right? So you can use AI to design and synthesize these new compounds, right? Or I'll say that, okay, I have this as the base, right? How can I make sure that I use this compound such that it becomes a drug, plus it's edible and not really dangerous for a person to eat, right? But it is actually helping the person to heal. Okay. Now, one such example here is, right? So there's one company called Insilico Medicine, right? So they have been using AI for their drug discovery, right? For treatments for cancer, potential treatments for cancer. Okay, right. Another one was with regards to the molecular properties predictions, right? AI can analyze chemical data to identify potential drug candidates, what kind of molecular characteristics, right? So some use cases for this here would be like, okay, if I have a look at um, one kind of drug, right? One kind of chemical composition or a compound, right? I have a look at another compound, right? I should be able to differentiate these two, correct? I should be able to differentiate these two, right? How can we do that, right? So that can be done by using machine learning. Under ML, there is something called as classification, right? Under machine learning, there is something called as classification, right? We'll just see one small demo for that. Fiza, it depends. Yes, AI is dangerous, right? But AI is also pretty useful. And it depends on how you are going to use it, how people are planning to use it. Yeah. Yes, Akshata. We will be seeing one demo, right? Maybe in the next 5 minutes or so, we'll see one demo. Okay. Okay. One second. What is this? Okay. Yeah. Now, AI workflow, right, in terms of drug discovery. Okay, first thing, this slide is an AI generated slide. I tried to create a workflow by giving certain parameters and ask it to create images, right? It did create it, but then I think you can just see here. So many of these terms are not necessarily visible and not necessarily understandable. Yeah. Okay. So here you can see parser data. Right? This is something that you have different processes by using machine learning predictions. You can just do, and you have different amounts of data, right? An AI workflow in drug discovery involves data input, right? You give molecular properties, you use machine learning algorithms, right? And it helps predict potential drug candidates. Okay. Now, some of the examples that we can see here, right? I do have a lot of other slides to show as well, but I'm gonna rush through to the demo part here. One second. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the predictive modeling timeline before I go there. Okay. So how does AI use, right? For example, in a disease outbreak prediction, right? In general, also the steps are like you collect data, you utilize AI algorithms to identify patterns, you forecast outcomes or you predict diseases, and you have strategies that you're going to plan and implement. Okay. Now, we will see one use case, right? So I think there are a couple of examples that I can give you. Suppose you have microscopic images of maybe red blood cells and white blood cells, right? So your WBCs and RBCs, right? So you wanted to classify and understand, okay, this is an RBC cell, this is a WBC cell, right? Cell type classification, right? For the blood type, you can do within minutes. You can train a model to distinguish between RBCs and WBCs, right? Maybe there's a virus, right? You upload samples of a virus, you upload samples of a WBC, you upload samples of RBC, microscopic images. You can distinguish and tell next time a predictive model will be built based on our understanding that, okay, next time I show something, this is a virus, right? This is a bacteria, right? I can put in classes and say that, okay, this is a virus, this is a bacteria, this is RBC, this is WBC. Okay. So what it does is AI can help automate cell counting or diagnosis in biology labs. Okay. Another use case for this can be plant disease detection, right? So if there is a plant, right? I think this is something that people already are using a lot. And if I have a plant, if I have a leaf, right, one which is diseased leaf, okay, then I have some other leaves which is a healthy green, a greenish yellow, properly healthy, dark green leaves, maybe. Okay. The other one is something which is suffering from a disease. Now, I could build a predictive model which says that, okay, this leaf is healthy, this one is having some disease. Okay. So it can assist biologists to detect diseases early. Okay. Right. So there was one more very interesting project, right? A project that I had done a while ago, right? So you all know about foot ulcers, foot ulceration. It's a common problem that a lot of us face. So there was one thing that we had done that you put you stand on a couple of sensors, right? So there will be a board, right? It's like how we have a weighing scale on which we stand. There'll be a board. You stand on that, right? And then based on your foot ulcers, the pressure and the force which is there, according to that, you get some readings, right, via sensors. And then you can automate. And then the moment you stand, it is going to tell you, you can build an AI model which will tell you, okay, this person has got foot ulceration or not. Okay, based on the exact numbers and readings, we can do that also. Okay, I can show you a couple of these examples. I've got one very simplistic website that we can use. Right, I'm going to share my screen again for that. And it's called Teachable Machines. And it's a Google-based demo tool, not really a demo tool. It's a tool which people use very often in real time also for their projects. But we are going to use it like a demo. Okay. Hope you all can see the screen again. And for about the next 10 minutes or so, we will just try to understand how this thing works. Just have a look at this. Right? What's the tool trying to do? It's like you come, you upload your images, right? You use a webcam, upload your images, anything, sound, images, poses, everything. Create simplest machine learning models. Okay. Right. So you just put in, okay, 1 second. I think few of these annotations are irritating. Just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So we do have these different models here, okay? Images, sounds, and poses. Right? So this is an AI-based system. Right? It uses machine learning. Okay. So here, some of the examples here. Banana meter. Learn how to create a model that can tell if a banana is ripe or not. Right? In the same way, which I said, you have some images for foot ulcers. Right? For example, I upload 5 of these images which has foot ulcers. Right? I uploaded it as one of the model, one type. The other ones are regular good feet, right? The next time you have an image that it's going to tell if a person has foot ulcers or not. Okay. So if I just write disease plant leaves, right? I'll take this example for plant disease detection. Okay. So what I'm going to do is save this image, right? Save this image onto my desktop. Right? I do have blood cell images example also here. Plant. Okay. So disease one is the image that I'm taking. And I'll take another one. I'm saving this image. This is two image. Right? In the same way, I'll take about 5 of them. This is three. This is four. This is five. Okay. Plant leaves. Now, I will upload other 5 images also. Okay. Now, these ones are going to be of fresh plant leaves, right? Without too many problems or disease. Right? Like this one. Save image. Leaf one. Right? You can do it too. Right? You can do it right in front. Two. Green plant leaves. And we'll keep it green. Leaves. Okay, hold on. Probably will take some other things like this. Leaf 2, leaf 3. Okay, maybe a leaf 4. All right, so now I've got 10 images, and then I will just go back here, get started, try to build a AI-based model, right? A machine learning model, wherein we will try and train image project, and we will try and train a standard image model. So here it is like a diseased leaf. This one's a healthy leaf. So we can put in all of the images here, right? So choose images. And like I said, desktop, plant. So these are the 5 images that I have. I could upload 50, right? You want better results, upload more images, right? Healthy leaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I have this, right? I could just train a model. It is a deep learning model. If you can see, it trains 50 times. And these are some of the other parameters that we want, right? And then it's just going to train. If the data is more, it takes a lot of time. If the data is less like this, should be done in seconds. Now the input can be from a webcam or from a file. Right now, since these are leaves, I'm going to take it from a file. Okay. I have 5 data. Right? I need a couple of other leaves as well. Okay. So let me take this. Save image, test leaf. Okay. Now, disease leaf is what I want. And I'm going to take some other one, like this one. Test leaf 2. Okay. So quickly going back, and here I am checking with the test leaf 1, and immediately you can see it says that this is a healthy leaf. Why? It has learned from what data we have given. Now it's automatically able to judge. Okay. Another example here would be test leaf 2, right? And then this is a disease leaf, 99% sure. You getting the point? How simple it is? Now, this is not just something like a demo or something that I just want to show you here, right? I could actually use it as a model in my projects, right? So you want to build a website within which you want this app, you have the code here. There is a JavaScript code with this. The entire thing is ready. You upload leaves like this, next time you can use it actually in your project, right? You can download the model. You want to build it in a Python based code. You have a Python based code. A Python model is readily available for you. This is for a website. This is for a Python app. This is for mobile Android, right? You want to build an Android application. You have a model ready available with you. Now, obviously, you would want to add much more images to this, right? Not just 5, but this is one thing that you can use. This is how you can use AI. Right now, given the time constraint, right? So I had to restrict to following not coding approaches, right? But this is one. Quickly, I'm going to refresh and show you the example of WBC and RBC. Right? I'm going to create a class which says WBC, RBC. Upload samples of white blood cells, right? RBC 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? I have 4 samples. Okay. Same ways. Look how simple it is. Sorry. I'll call this RBC then. I'll call this as WBC. Let me upload samples of WBC 1, 2, 3, and 4. Done. I've got 4 samples there, 4 samples here. Let me train the model. Right. It learns since hardly 4 images. It learns very quickly. Right. And then what I do is I switch the new input that I'm giving here, test. Right. It has got nothing to do with the file name. Right. It just tests this, and it is 100% sure that this is a white blood cell. Same way. This is 99% sure that this is a red blood cell because this one and the first one are pretty similar. Okay, that's how quickly you can build a model, and this can be used for the blood cells classification. Yeah. Now imagine you wanted to test image of a bacteria here, one bacteria here, another bacteria here. You give similar samples, 100 samples of one bacteria. You give 100 samples of another bacteria, and you wanted to categorize. Right? You can do that here. Isn't that great? Right? Very simplistic, but again, very useful. Agree? Right. So I quickly want to show you another thing. There's something called Notebook LM, again from Google. Right? Consider you have a research paper. Right? Consider you have a research paper. Right? I'm just going to create a new notebook. Right here, clinical trial research paper latest. And I'm just going to search for something on the internet. Yeah, I just want to link a research paper. Okay. NIH, current medical research articles. Okay, I think National Institute of Health. Right, some kind of clinical research is that here. I'm not really sure which one because I've taken a random Google search. Okay. Now the thing is, for this one from Venkatramana and Savita, right, so this is a massive bunch of article that is there here, right? There are a lot of things that they have mentioned. Now I just want to get a summary of this. And I don't want to be using this entire thing and I don't want to read everything line by line because it's massive and I don't want to spend so much time here. Right? What I'll do is I will upload a source onto this given from a website, paste the link here, insert it. That's my one source, right? Kindly summarize. Or it's just giving a comprehensive review either ways here. Right? The provided text is an extensive review article on clinical trials published in the journal Curies, right? National Library of Medicine. Offers a comprehensive review of key aspects, including fundamental differences between clinical research and clinical trials. Okay. So state the most important research points discussed in the paper. It can actually look up the entire website and give these details to you. And that's how powerful this is. Now, this is a RAG-based system, a generative AI-based model. Okay. It uses this, and from there, it is going to give us the detail, a RAG-based system. Right? Now, this was a purely ML or DL-based model. This is a generative AI-based model, Notebook LM. Okay. Now, the most important research points discussed are fundamentals, clinical trial phases, right? What are the phases? What kind of approvals? What is the management and operations, right? What is the research areas, drug approval, legal considerations, all sorts of things are possible for us to work with. Getting a gist as to what all things can be done here, how can we use this? Right. So in terms of future trends, right? So you can have an integration with genomics, right? So AI has got massive power. It can help to analyze genomic data, right? To accelerate discoveries and in personalized medicines, right? So you want targeted therapies, you want personalized medicines, right? You can use AI for its interaction and integration with genomics, right? I think clinical trials we just discussed about, right? It can optimize the trial designs. It can optimize what kind of patients are selected, right? What is the maybe like patient's condition, right? How healthy a patient is to try the drug on that person, what is the success rate, how to increase the efficiency, all of those things are possible. Okay. Explainable AI, right? Explainable AI to ensure the transparency in decision making. Right? And AI also will help in collaboration, right? We can do that. Okay. So that's a little bit about what we wanted to discuss and give you an introduction. Got any questions now? And were you able to understand the two demos? I know it was quite short. Mhm. If AI starts doing all the work even in R&D, then will the job opportunities decline, right? In certain fields, yes. Inevitably, yes. Right? But the thing is, we should also update with AI, right? Everything needs a human touch at the end, right? We can't directly consider AI as God and use it, right? AI will take away our jobs, yes, but there'll be certain things that we still have a fine line at, right? A human touch is required. So it's how we use and adapt with the usage of AI, right? What's my suggestion is for students, right? What we should do is, if I'm a student, right, learning stage, right, avoid using any of the generative AI based tools, generation, right, avoid using any of the like chat GPT or those kind of things when you're at learning stage. Once you have learned the fundamentals and your basics are strong, your concepts are strong, right? After that, when you're actually in implementation, when you want to save time, when you are doing your market research, that time you can take support of AI. Don't treat AI as the main thing. Take support of AI. That's what we do because it can make mistakes. It can go wrong. Right? We are the ones who are holding the actual power there. Right? We do know all of the things. Right? We can do the work. Right? We just have to take help from AI. That's what people do. Right? And we should not be having and using AI for every single thing. Right? It restricts our ability. Right? So that's the negative point. Right? Now we don't think. Yes. Now we don't think enough. We just ask AI to give the details for us, right? So we put in a prompt and then it gives us the details. Correct? How can we be trained in using AI in our fields, right? So you should know effectively how to use, how to prompt, right? How to use it for maximizing your efficiency. So that's how we can use AI. Yeah.
Sir, please explain drug discovery shortly.
Please explain drug discovery. Yeah. I think
Shortly.
we did that in the initial part, right? You weren't
Okay.
there in the first part?
Hello.
No such tools. Yeah, you weren't there in the first part. I think that's where we started
No,
off.
sir. The network issue was there, sir. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My my mobile was not working, sir. Please.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. So I think we spent about a good 10 minutes or so in the drug discovery. Like how AI is used in drug discovery is that you can identify and predict the molecular properties, what kind of composition is there, compound optimization is there. So you can refine the drug components, right? So in that ways, right? So you can actually use maybe some ML systems and modeling systems, right? In terms of drug discovery, like you have a lot of products, right? Or you have a lot of drugs or chemicals, right? How is it that you use those products which are going to be effective and make it a useful drug, which is maybe edible, get to know its chemical composition, right? Get to know what happens when it reacts with water, because most of the medicines that we take, right, it'll be like you eat a drug, you eat a medicine, you intake water, right? To
Yeah.
understand its reactions, right? So AI can use its memory from all of the research papers and all of the knowledge and LLM based systems that it has. It can gain the data, gain the information, and give us results for, okay, this is a good chemical to work with or not. This is edible or not, right? And in terms of that, it can suggest. So this testing, obviously, it has to come at the end from us. We have to manually test it, right? But before that, it gives us a platform that, okay, this is what you can do. You can save time with this. You need not do all of the steps. You can take my suggestion and then do your own research, is how it can help.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir. Will you be showing VCAR tools and Tensor tools, sir?
Um, no, Krupandi, I think we had planned with just a couple of this because of the time constraint, right?
Not now. In the
We
regular
had.
course, 30 hours course, is there
Uh-huh.
possibility? Is there possibility for the learners to get to know about the VCAR tools and Tensor tool, how to use?
Sure, we'll make a note of that. We'll have a look and then see if that is possible for consideration.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. This is just a brief overview, right, for the others, right? We'll have a lot of other tools, much more in detail that we can learn about, right? Right. I think with that, we can sort of wrap up for the day. Any other questions? Let me know. Okay. If not, I think we'll wrap up here. I think you can feel free to drop off. Anyone from the support team here? Can they drop off? Satish or anyone? Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Andre.
Sir. Question about how can we learn about AI in pharma? How can we dive into that topic? Do we have to do any type of course or how do we learn about that?
Okay. Yes. We are trying to provide you with a curated course for this. For pharma, again, see, most of the materials will be available online, some of them for free. There'll be a lot of courses that we can enroll with, right? We do come up with a lot of courses ourselves, right? A lot of colleges we have delivered for AI and pharma, AI in healthcare, Learn to Upgrade has that. Yeah, you can check with the support team also with regarding to this thing, right? Other than that, like this, you have a lot of AI tools. Keep updating yourself. Have a look as to what is happening in the industry, right? What kind of tools are there, and then we have to link with our use cases, right? So there'll be a lot of tools like starting from ChatGPT to this notebook LM, and you have a lot of automation workflow tools that we can use.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Okay. Thank you all.